Hey, what's going on? Here with another episode. And today we're going to be talking combine. We're a few days away. So I'm just going to talk about just basic information. Not really going to go over any specific players because I don't know how many guys are in the combine, but it's a lot. It'd be impossible to try and go over and identify a few players. Maybe I'll do that in the future. Maybe I'll talk more draft stuff. But before I get into it, I got a new sponsor. And today's episode is sponsored by Child Leash. Are you tired of trying to chase your kids around and want to keep them within 5 feet of you at all times? Well, you're in luck because today my listeners, who also are terrible parents, get a 50% discount on a case of PBR with your purchase of one of our backpack leashes. Now you'll be able to kick back and enjoy your favorite trash beer and neglect your kids at short range. Each backpack can hold up to 4 devices, so when you make your way to the food court, you can pull out your child's favorite device and forget about them while they're sitting right in your face. The leash is made of a high-strength ripcord, rated for over 600 pounds, so even your fattest kids can be subdued. Have multiple kids? Then check out our multi-channel leash holder that can hold up to 8 leashes at once. It's perfect for family trips, such as trips to the beach in the winter, the county fair, the mall, and much, much more. Call today to receive your discount and be the parents everyone is talking about. Remember to use offer code Hey, put that down. Once again, that's offer code Hey, put that down to receive your child leash. All right. Now that awesomeness is over with, that totally real sponsor, let's talk some combine. So, some basic information. It kicks off on March 1st, Friday, March 1st, all the way through Monday, March 4th. And on Friday, you start off with the running backs, the O linemen, special teams players, which I guess like kick returners, and place kickers. And then Saturday, March 2nd, you got QBs, wide receivers, tight ends, so that should be a good day. And then Sunday, March 3rd, you got defensive line and linebackers. So big defensive day. A lot of the D-line are supposed to be really good. And then Monday, March 4th, you got cornerbacks and safety, the DBs, baby. And the draft, it features the 6 workouts. You got the 40-yard dash, the bench press, the vertical jump, the broad jump, the 3-cone, and then the shuttle run. But most importantly, I think, are the medical exams and the team interviews. The combine is really important for those things. Players who have had injuries, to see if their legs still hold up. Like, yo, bro, how are your CLs? All of them. And then the interviews, is this guy a cunt? Or is he chill? How does he hang out? And like with all the players in one area wearing underwear, gay, you get to see who's the alpha, or who do the players all hang out with. I heard Joe Horowitz talking about with the quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, and the wide receivers, a lot of them just navigated or gravitated towards him, like wanted to hang out with Lamar, and that's a good sign of a good leader and someone who you want on your team. Another thing, very important, the workouts aren't crazy important to me, honestly. It's more just kind of like confirming this guy is an athlete, especially for like small school guys who, they didn't get as much attention. It's like, can they bring it to the next level? Are they skilled enough, athletic enough to hang with these dudes from bigger schools? And, a lot of these drills, they kind of confirm that for you. I think most importantly, drill-wise, I think the 3-cone or the shuttle run, because those are like short area quickness, kind of like I think three cones. It's kind of like that running around that L, that L. So like, what's your speed while changing direction? And then the shuttle run, that's back and forth. That's like they go up 10, back 10, and then up 20. I think it's something around there, and that shows your speed just cutting back and forth. Maybe not like a looping run like with the three cone, but more just explosive boom, boom, boom. Like, how do I legit change direction? What speed you at, boy? And then vertical jump and broad jump, that just shows how explosive you are with your legs. I think is great. Bench press, you strong or what? I mean, you should be. 40-yard dash, that's top speed in underwear. But a lot of these drills, it's you're in your underwear, so it doesn't really translate really perfectly. It's just more like your raw athleticism. Because when the pads come on, people play it differently. Speed changes, obviously, because you got more weight. But, like, for instance, Orlando Brown, historically the worst combine ever. The worst combine. Like, I'm pretty sure he broke records for how terrible he was. But he's pretty damn good right tackle, if you ask me. And I think he's going to continue to be our right tackle his entire career. I think he's one of those dudes, like, maybe he'll price himself out at some point, like in 4 years. But I'm hoping, since he's kind of a legacy guy, great pick. His dad, everyone knows his dad was on the Ravens. I think they'll try to re-sign him if he continues to play well. If he doesn't just fall off a fucking cliff, he's only going to get better because he's got great technique. You just got to get stronger and quicker, and that's something you can work on. That's something that can actually improve. Technique wise, I think technique, yeah, you can get better. I just think it's less likely to happen compared to strength and speed, and he's already got the size, so he can hold that frame. But the combine, it's important to see, like, who do the Ravens, who do they interview with? Who do they interview player-wise? Because a lot of those guys, they won't get a chance to bring them in for private workouts. And you can see, like, oh, well, this team likes this guy, this team likes this guy. And a lot of the times when you're interviewing a player, they like them and are willing to take them in the draft. Sometimes the board doesn't shake out the way it was, or the way it's supposed to, and you end up not being able to pick that guy. But it's important to see who they're talking to, because there's a high likelihood that they're into that player, that they like him, and they're just trying to get their sense of things around his personality, who he is. Who are you really? Okay. And also coaches meeting with other coaches, because I think it's a lot of times it's just their friends and want to hang out, get in touch, but sometimes it's because they are interested in one of your free agents, one of your guys that's either entering free agency or one of their guys that you are interested in. So I kind of like to see who they speak to, which GMs are talking. And they kind of get the feels out for who the Ravens are looking at free agency wise, which I hope is no one, but that's neither here nor there. The combine, I wish they used that zebra technology that they have. I think they're using it in the AAF a lot, where they kind of track speed, live tracking, so you can go on that app and you can basically watch the game virtually. Like, you can see all the players moving around, and it's pretty fucking accurate. I wish they just used that, so that way, like, when the wide receivers, they're running their routes, you can see throughout the day, were they faster, slower? Like, what's their endurance? Like, can they maintain that speed throughout the whole workout? I think that's more important than how fast they actually run. Like, oh, great, you can run the 40-yard dash in 4.4 seconds, but in an hour, when you run that vertical route, are you even close to that? Or are you running like five? You're running five flats. And that's why, like, when you look at tape, guys, oh, he's got great play speed. That's because I think their endurance is is much better, and I think you got to rate that much higher. And let's see, one sec. Yeah, and like I said, the combine, it's where you get all these players together, stack them up side by side, and it's really only for measurables. You got to take what you get from the combine to confirm what you thought about a guy, and that's it. You can't take what you got from the combine and say, oh, now this player is nothing to us. The game tape means nothing. I think that's a fool's thing to do. Like I'll talk about Orlando Brown again. Like, I mean, this has happened all the time. Like Terrell Suggs, he didn't have a great combine. He was like one of the top players coming out at that time back in 2003 when I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade, depending on what time of year. But the he was seen as like the top pass rusher. But because he had a bad combine, he fell to us at, what number was it? I think 6. Like, he was supposed to go probably top 3, but he ended up going to 6 because he didn't have a good combine, because GMs put too much into the combine, the underwear Olympics. And I think I hope Eric DeCosta does not fall fool to that. You know, maybe there's some analytics that prove my point, and hopefully Eric DeCosta is already looking at that, and he sees and says, oh yeah, your boy Craven Raven was right. I totally listened to his podcast and was like, you know what? He's right. You know what? He should have my job. No, I would never want to be a GM. That looks so stressful. No freaking way. And that scouting life, that seems like too much, honestly. So I'm excited for, I guess, really every single day. I think like running backs, we're gonna try to. I think we might draft one in like 4th round. You know, one of the guys that falls. Wide receivers, I think since we cut Crabtree, that's gonna be a big day for us. Checking out the wide receivers, interviewing. I think the Ravens are just gonna interview tons of wide receivers. And I think D-line. I mean, our D-line's pretty set, in my opinion, but you always want to add. And then O-line too. I think we're going to interview a lot of O-linemen, because I think this draft, honestly, we should just draft all O-linemen and all wide receivers. Take no other position. Maybe not so much, but you know what I mean. Try to hit on as many guys as you can, because that's what we need. You know, I think we need to upgrade center, guard, then wide receiver, then safety. I think in that order, and then you always need corners. You know, when I do my positional rankings, kind of see where I'm at on that, on different players, different guys. Like, you know, I don't generally like, oh, you can't be too high on guys from Maryland just because they're from Maryland. I think you can. Because guys who come out of Maryland, they end up being way better than you expect. Like, if the Ravens have drafted the wide receivers from Maryland that have come out, they'd have a pretty good wide receiver core. They would have had Vernon Davis at tight end. You know, he'd be almost retiring. But you'd have Vernon Davis, Torrey Smith, Stephon Diggs, and DJ Moore. That's a good core. If you were able to keep all of them, that'd be a great core. And then on defense, I'm trying to think. Ngakoue, I think he was at Maryland, and he's played well. You also got who's that corner and that safety? Sean Davis? All I know is they're wide receiver DBU, but like the small school version, so that those guys end up playing better than you expect. So this year, you got Darnell Savage coming out. I think he'd be a great 3rd or 4th round pick. I saw a video on YouTube. My dude, computer's all fucking stuck. What's my guy's name? what's my guy's name? Edgar Allan. Shout out Edgar Allan. He broke down tape on Darnell Savage and trying to showing you what kind of player he is. I think he's great coverage, great box safety. He's a little bit smaller, but that's someone you want to watch at the combine. See his speed. But mostly, I think if you're going to watch players, you got to watch the small school prospects, see if they can actually weigh in or weigh up to kind of what those guys are doing at like D1 schools. Like Brandon Williams, like pre-combine, he had that video of him doing handstands, walking on his hands, and that got teams like, yo, look at this dude. Look at this motherfucker on his hands. That's impressive for however heavy he is, some 500-pound dude. So stuff like that, or you had Tariq Cohen like doing backflips and catching the ball mid backflip, like two of them. Like that's the kind of stuff that comes out. You're like, man, why would, like, just seeing like small school guys, like, why would you ever draft him? And then you see some crazy athletic stuff like that where you're like, why wasn't this guy at a D1 school? And then you take that combine, you see those numbers, he's stacking up with some of the best athletes in the nation. And you can, okay. All right, let's look at this guy's tape again. Let's see if it actually translates to the field. So, I think that's going to do it. See if I got any other notes here. What I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so I had no other notes. That's going to do it for this episode on the combine. The combine. If you like the show, and wherever you're listening to it, if it's on YouTube, subscribe. I guess on any platform, subscribe. I'm trying to get it onto iTunes, but they take a while. It's on, I think it's on Spotify. But if you like listening to the show and you have suggestions, or you want to talk to me, or you got a question and you'd like it answered on a podcast, feel free to email me at csrpod@gmail.com. That's spelled csrpod@gmail.com. And also, if you are a super fan of the show and you really want to support it, send me some money on Venmo. Looking to try to get a microphone, not just me and my headphones here, but hit me up on Venmo at Stephen-Owings-1. That's spelled STEPHEN -OWINGS-1. Thank you, and have a good life.